Do you remember the Ultramarines Terminators? Yeah, I mean these guys with a crazy height-to-weight ratio, huge shoulders and skinny legs. They got an upgrade this year, look at them now, bigger and much better proportioned. But how did we get here? Well, everything started with these 3 boxes containing the Ultramarines team led by the Sergeant. Then we have the guy with the trademark autocannon and power fist and the Grand Terminator with Stonebolter and power fist. So are we ready to reenact the 10th edition trailer scene and start unleashing death and destruction to the Tyranids? Well, not yet, we need the captain. And so here it is, Agemman, the first company's captain in all of its grumpy glory. And now we can finally look at them in more detail. Let's start from Agemman, because rank has its own privileges. Nothing special about the box or its clamshell, it is rather uninspiring. Agemman instead looks in good shape, no missing parts, and not many accessories provided too, the trademark powersword and a big stormbolter. We only have him with this grumpy face and the branded right pauldron. The back, under the reactor fan, is covered by the omnipresent captain's red cape, with some slight dark shadows in the recesses, nothing amazing, but still good enough. The left pauldron has a nicely weathered crux terminatus, and moving back to the front, we have the classic arula on the chest, and then some quite simple decorations for the legs, with purity seals here and there. No highlights on the armor, but this is the trend for Ultramarines, sadly. We then have the 2 additional hands with golden skulls. Agemman is armed with a Stormbolter, which is not much different from the others seen for the Terminators figures, and a power sword that promises bad things for Tyranids, and a lot of fun for the chapter. So, our Indomitus captain is lock and loaded, but before he jumps into teletransport, we compare him with the older captain, which is now a little bit overwhelmed by Agemman's primary might. And then, with the Chaos Lord in Terminator armor, which is probably going to be more careful next time in choosing his opponents. Agemman really raises the bar about the captains in Terminator armor for the 40k universe. It is big, very nicely built, and with a great presence. Sadly, there is no helmeted head option, but it is related to GW choices, and the paint is a bit bland. Ultramarines will deserve more highlights, at least for these top tier figures. Time to move to the Ultramarines team, led by our brave, unnamed Sergeant. Our Ultramarines are quite humble about packaging, but our Sergeant comes with a welcome homing beacon, the ideal tool for any Terminators team that wants to move quickly into the most critical positions of any battlefield. All of these Terminators have helmeted heads, with one having the unhelmeted option. The Sergeant armor is in line with what we have seen with Agemman, but with even less details. Ultramarines are quite austere in terms of fancy decorations, having preference for clean designs and no frills. These new Terminators have the improved shoulder articulation, so despite the bulk, we have a great range of movement all around. The massive legs are a decisive improvement over the older generation, and they have no issues at all with double joints articulations. Definitely a great improvement, I like them, a lot. Even in this case we can notice the lack of accessories, we only care about the essential stuff here, and a huge autocannon surely fits this category. It is pretty similar to the one used by the older generation figure, but with a rotating barrel, which seems to be an essential feature for this kind of weapons. The lucky Terminator guy sports a pretty conventional Terminator armor, if we can say so. Sadly, the autocannon is connected to the arm, so we cannot swap it easily with other guys. He is not much different from the Sergeant anyway, quite plain painting and decorations, but with a huge power fist on the left arm, but for sure what we want is to see our Terminator spinning his autocannon and start delivering just retribution to some Xenos. And after this satisfying moment, we take a look at the only other unhelmeted head we have in this set. Well, technically he has a respirator, but the top part is still bare. And we know that in 40k that spacemarines love to walk around deadly battlefields with their exposed skulls. Not sure if that is codex compliant, but I will personally suggest Guilliman to review that part, just in case. But besides that detail, our friendly Terminator also comes with an helmeted head option, if you prefer it. Nothing fancy with the armor, we have a stone bolter and a big power fist for teaching good manners to the opponents. And by the way, the power fist can rotate, just in case you're wondering it. Well, more posing options I will say. Once assembled, the Terminator trio is quite impressive. I will personally show them with all helmets, because in my opinion it does not make much sense to have thick armored giants going around with exposed heads, but we know that in 40k, and in our shelves, the rule of cool is often overriding this small set of concerns. My favorite is the guy with the autocannon for obvious reasons. That is, they all look cool, but the autocannon has its own charisma, and after having seen so many stormbolters, those are not really that exceptional in its shelves. Same for the sergeant and his powersword. Yeah, I know it is canon, but having some assault terminators and their awesome thunder hammers would have been welcome. Same for the cyclone missile launcher. Where are they? I guess we will have to sit and wait. By the way, these guys are massive. They really eat shelf space for breakfast. I will give them a dedicated shelf because they are really a class of their own, especially compared to older figures like Sergeant Icastus, the famous non-Titus figures that we all love. Same for the older generation Terminators, where the comparison is quite shameful side to side. While JOYTOY has certainly aggravated the issue by increasing the scale because of technical reasons, GW has modified the models in a way that is quite troubling. But I'm sure that this moment will pass. In the meantime, we can appreciate how we are approaching 112 figure size. Poor Chaos Terminators, the first Terminator figures ever from JOYTOY, are in an even worse situation. They can only face the old generation Terminators while defending their pride. They still have a great paint job too. New figures have something to learn from them. The Deathwing Terminators instead can defend themselves quite well. Look-wise, Dark Angel's Terminators are still my preferred Terminators for 40k setting. Check them out if you did not watch their review in the past. All in all, the general rule is that you don't want to pose the old Terminators and the new ones together in the same shelf. Some people may be rightfully angry for this, but this is the sad reality for many collections. But going back to our big Terminators, are they worth taking? If you are an Ultramarines fan, yes. The entire set, together with Agemman, is a great group in any display, especially if you are going to put Tyranids against them in some crowded, messy battle diorama. Having said that, I wish you a nice rest of the day, looking for space in your shelves where to put these giant figures.